Okay, we are going to see who is our September 2023 Student of the Month. Who do we get to recognize? And it is Jana. Yay, Jana!
Welcome. Hello. This is our September Student of the Month. Congratulations. And please tell everybody who you are.
My name's Jana Powers, and the name of my business is Moon Balance Healing Arts. And I specialize in abdominal massage and working with mind-body connection for ultimate health.
Wonderful. Welcome. And where is your practice?
I'm located in Allen, East Allen.
Okay. Nice. So kind of northern DFW area.
Yes, definitely Collin County.
And we're going to dive into your niche in a second because that is fascinating to me. But first, what brought you to massage?
Okay, well, before I became a massage therapist, so I've had my license for 10 years now. I have a psychology degree, so I went to UTD, and then I got into HR and did HR for a while, and then I was in HRIS, which is the IT side of HR, and then I somehow ended up in IT security for Pepsi. Worked there for 10 years, and when I was in my mid-30s, I really decided I did not love sitting in a cubicle all day, and decided that I really wanted to do something I was passionate about. And I've always enjoyed working with, like, even when I was in the corporate world, people would come to my cube all the time to talk. And so I've been doing that kind of work even when I was doing my corporate work. So I'm like, I would really like to be doing that. So I went to massage school in the evenings, went to Kikino, and worked during the day at my office job. And then in a year, I was doing my own thing and had my own practice. I did work for other people for about 2 years, and then completely went on my own.
Nice. So, in what capacities did you work for other people? Was it like chiro, physical therapy, spa? Like, what was the genres?
Well, I tried a little bit of everything at first. I started out at Massage Heights, very part-time. I was still working at Pepsi at that time, so I still had my office position, just to kind of get my feet wet, I guess you would say. So I worked maybe 3 days a week. Did not love it. I liked the massage part, but I just didn't love the environment. And so moved pretty quickly into a more therapeutic role with a chiropractor in downtown McKinney. They're no longer there, but I worked there for almost 2 full years. And I worked there full time. And then when their office closed, and that's when I went out on my own. And then I did work briefly for a physical therapist for about 6 months, because I was starting my own business and was getting divorced. So I had to go work for somebody else so that I could get a loan on my house and all that kind of stuff. So for practical reasons, I had to go work for somebody else for a while.
Yeah, sometimes life kind of throws us some curveballs.
Yes, but then ever since I got that loan, I've worked for myself. So
wonderful. So, okay, so you have to explain this abdominal massage thing, please, because it is fascinating.
So the way that I came to it, I'll start with that story. I was about a year into having my LMT license, and I was starting to have my own gynecological issues. I was bleeding very heavily, and my OB wanted me to have ablation, which is where they take a laser into the uterus and intentionally scar it up. inner knowing was not super excited about intentionally scarring my body. So I decided not to do that. And I just kept seeing and hearing about Maya Abdominal Massage, just kind of honestly wasn't necessarily even looking for the information. It just kept finding me, and started looking at it and realized that there were practitioners in Austin that I could go see. And I have a sister that lives there. So in over about a 4-month period, I went and had 3 sessions with the practitioners there. And it totally changed everything for me. I was no longer having the issue that I was having, and all the things that would lead up to my period, like the heaviness, the cramping, the spotting, like just that whole, for most people, that week before of like little things just stopped. It just went away, and I didn't even know that was possible. So the therapist that I was seeing was like, we don't have anybody in Dallas who does this. Why don't you think about doing the training? And I did. The next time they offered it, at that time, they offered it twice a year. One of the sessions was in Belize, which is the one I chose to do. So I went to Belize for my training.
Why not? It's Belize.
Exactly. It was a very awesome experience. And then the other one was in New Hampshire, which is actually probably farther away than Belize from Dallas. So I did that, and I went the next January and did the training. So I have been doing it ever since. I really love it. I focus a lot with digestive and reproductive. I work with fertility. Also, just I get referrals from different type of practitioners. Acupuncturists send people to me quite a bit. I have a couple of chiropractors that send people to me. But I also have, because I do energy work and energy healing, I have energy practitioners that will send people to me because as they're working on them, on their clients, they can tell that they're like sacral chakra, root chakra, and solar plexus chakra are just really stuck and locked down. And so they'll send people to me to physically unbind that.
Wow. So it's not just the physical, abdominal region you're helping, it's the energetic and also.
Oh, yes. And if you think about what those chakras are, I mean, not everybody knows what chakras are and what they mean, but just to give a brief.
Please give us a brief description, please.
Yes. So you have 7 of them, but the first 3 of them is your root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. And then you have the sacral chakra, which is at the uteral area. And then you have your solar plexus, which is at like where your stomach is. And those are the first 3. So the root is about safety, being rooted to the earth, feeling like you are safe to be yourself, things like that. So that's the really important thing. So if you're going through life feeling unsafe all the time, it's going to affect everything, and everything in your body is going to be affected by that. And then you have your sacral chakra, which is tied to sexuality and reproduction, but also creativity. So if that's very locked down, you might have trouble, just creating not just art, but just your life. You might have trouble creating your day to day. And then the solar plexus has a lot to do with what you would say your gut. So it's like it can really interfere with your ability to connect to your intuition, connect to that feeling of like, go get like that life force, like here's what I want to do. So if you're feeling kind of that feeling of kind of stuck and you can't really create the things you want to create, and you're not really able to move through your day with ease, then you might have some areas in those first 3 chakras that are bound up.
Wow. So it's bigger than just organs and gut health and fertility.
Right. And so the other part of that, and that's that mind body connection, is the thing that shows up for you might be an upset stomach, but the origin might be from something energetic. And I work a lot with my clients about both. Like we do the physical unwinding, but we also talk about, because I can unwind it, but if you're in a toxic job that makes you feel sick every day, I mean, if I unwind it for you, it's just going to bind back up the next time you go to work. So we talk a lot about strategies for dealing with that. And also like, choices, like maybe it's time to start interviewing for another job that doesn't make you want to throw up every day, that kind of
Yeah, that would be helpful.
But sometimes the other thing I will say, just because I'm a more sensitive person, um, when I say sensitive, I mean that could be emotionally sensitive, that could be physically sensitive. People who are more likely to be overstimulated, they tend to be called into my practice. And so I work a lot with people that have that people pleaser type personality, over giving, overthinking, all of those things. So we work a lot on practical tools to help with that, as well as the physical aspect of massage.
Wow. It wasn't, it's more than I thought it was going to be. That's phenomenal. Wow.
And I also work
So,
with libido
oh,
and
okay.
ability to receive, people that are maybe have trouble with pleasure. I work with that as well.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because if you have, whatever your upbringing is, it could lend itself to being more stoic and less in your body, I guess is the only way I can describe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people that are sensitive,
Yeah.
one of the things that is pretty universal with that type of person is really a lot of effort is put into not going to negative emotions and being almost afraid of feeling them. And so when you cut out all the negative emotions, it really stifles your positive emotions too, because that's just how emotions work. If you tamp these down, like everything's affected. And then you get to my age, which is in the 40s, and you've been living your life pretty numbed. On top of that, maybe you're an overgiver, so you're also in your 40s and you've been overgiving, so you don't really have a lot in your tank. So it's just all these things add up, and people are like really hard on themselves, like, why don't I feel happy? And it's like, well, you just have some of the stuff
Mhm.
needs to be unwound.
Yeah, you could on the outside have a perfect life and not be.
Yes, yes, because that perfect
Mhm.
life is perfect for everybody but you.
Yeah, man. So you're giving people a lot more than just body work.
Yes. And
That's
some
awesome.
people just want body work, but most people want more than that.
Yeah. Man. Okay, so I'm assuming the most used modality in your practice is the Mayan abdominal massage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that is my most used modality. I do use like the cupping tools that I actually learned from you. I have
Yeah.
found that, especially with sensitive people, it really allows the body to open. So I often start with those. Um, Something about that movement on the fascia just helps the sensitive body sigh into it. I don't know how else to say it.
I
Um,
love that. I love the way you phrased that.
and then I also do toning. So sometimes I will sing. I mean, I'm not like singing Broadway tunes, but it's like just toning. It's kind of what I would call almost like um, humming. Almost like what your mom would do when you were a baby. I mean, that's kind of how it sounds. And for clients that really works for them too. It really helps their bodies relax. So I use
Well,
that.
I have read, and you can speak to this more than me, that certain frequencies of tone help certain chakras in the body.
Yes, that
Mhm.
is definitely true. Yeah, it is
Okay.
definitely true. And I don't have singing bowls myself, but sometimes we'll play them in during the
Nice.
session.
Wonderful. Well, now I'm kind of interested in booking a session with you.
You're always welcome, Amy.
Just don't be scared if you see me on your schedule.
No,
So,
be
switching
very
gears a
excited.
little bit, thank you. You once were a massage student. So knowing what you know now in your beautiful longevity so far as a massage therapist, practicing as a solo practitioner, what advice would you possibly give current students in a massage program?
I do feel like for longevity, one of the best things you can do is find your niche. And that doesn't necessarily need to be found right away, because I do feel like it reveals itself over time into what you're interested in, what do you want to keep learning. And honestly, that is one of the reasons I got into massage, is that I was in the IT field and I was making good money, but I didn't really care if I ever learned anything about it, which, not great for a career. But once I got into massage, I was like, I would take a class every day if I could. So, so finding what interests you, and really working within yourself too. I feel like when you get into massage, and you're in a room with somebody for an hour or two, maybe even 3 hours if you do those type of massages, um, you might see some gifts opening up, and pursue them, Google them, talk to people, be part of a community of other therapists to bounce ideas off of. And because to me, the best massage is some kind of like almost like jazz of that person's personality, their spirit, what they've learned, what they've learned through training, what they've learned through experience. And the more you just step into that and allow that to blossom, the more you become unique and draw in your clientele.
That was the most perfect way to say that. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful. So for all of the people that are watching, what else do you want to talk about? Is there anything left over? I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Let's see. Well, the one thing that are you talking about to a student? Like
Anything.
Okay. The thing that I love most about massage, I'll just speak about that because that's probably my favorite thing to talk about, is having worked in a cubicle, having worked in corporate America, it's the first time in my life when I started doing massage where I really felt like the unique way I was created, which hasn't always fit so well into industrialized life, which I did fine at work, but it just, I never thrived. Is it just suits everything that there is about me. I love the quiet. I love the personalness of it. I was talking to somebody recently, and they were like, if you could go back and go back to school and restart, and do whatever you wanted to do. And I'm like, because I became a counselor. That was the track I was on when I got my massage, when I got my psychology degree. But I'm like, I would hate to be a counselor now because I can't touch anybody. And it's like, I love talking to people. I love holding that space for people to feel completely safe. That's one thing that is really important to me, that people feel safe to be themselves in my space. But I also get to touch, and I feel like our society is so touch deprived. And there's just a power to that you don't get I'm a big fan of regular therapy. I'm not going to knock it, but you don't get that personalized healing touch piece. And I'm really happy to be able to have that be part of my everyday life.
That's wonderful. And you summed up how I feel also in the massage world, is that my whole being, everything that I am made of, is made for massage. I completely agree.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And and I love that I get to get paid to be myself.
Great.
It's lovely. It is lovely.
Well, Miss Jana, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for giving us a little spotlight on the amazing work that you're doing. I will add all of your information on the video details, and you will be kind of splattered here and there on our social media for being our September Student of the Month. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.